Hi, my name is Jose Ayala and we are in Oslo. Today is 26th of May and we are with Diego Arria. And thank you for being here, for being in Oslo. And our first question will be, what are you doing here? Because it's so much talk about this dialogue between the regime from Venezuela, the opposition with the Norwegian government, and we would like to know, as you have told before, it's nothing to do with that, but we would like to hear about it.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here. The first thing I should explain what I'm not doing here. I'm not negotiating anything on behalf of the interim government of Venezuela. I came to participate in the Oslo Freedom Forum. It's the third time that I have come. Twice I've been speaker at the conference, and this is the last time that I've been here.
And what's your view about these conversations between the regime representatives and Guaido's representatives with the Norwegian government?
Well, I have expressed my views publicly that neither the regime's representative, neither the opposition representative are really legitimate representatives of both sectors. On one side, I believe that in order to be really representative of the regime, you must have either Maduro or Cabello, Padrino, or Mrs. Flores, the wife of Maduro. And on the other side, you should have then Venezuelan representatives of the civil society of the highest hierarchy possible. And I am afraid that we are giving the wrong impression to the world that we are about to embark ourselves into a negotiating process gearing towards an election, and to have elections in the country that is a narco-tyranny is not advisable.
And what will be the minimum pre-requirements to go to an election then?
The fundamental requirement is the removal of Maduro. Maduro and the regime, because Maduro is, I would say, a small part. I would say is almost an insignificant player. The main players are the armed forces, because people sometimes ask me, what are the armed forces going to do? And I say, no, that's a wrong question. The regime is a military regime. So when you ask me, you have to say, how is the regime going to react? And that's what we're facing today.
But then, is this going to help in any way? Is some future in these conversations?
When you are in the midst of a tragedy like ours, you could say anything is possible. Mm-hmm. But sometimes the signals get crossed and do not project the right message to other parts of the world. If we give the impression that we're willing to negotiate under any circumstances, for example, today, the vice president of Venezuela, Zambrano, is in jail, arrested, actually kidnapped by the intelligence services. If you enter into conversation, negotiation with the regime that has the vice president of Venezuela in jail, and that you have a lot of political leaders in the embassies in asylum, that's not a good message. It means that you are willing to negotiate even though you are not in a favorable position to do so.
Then what will be the path further? What can we do then?
You mean the diaspora or the Venezuelans?
The Venezuelans.
I think this today, in my view, requires to widen the consultation process that the Guaido government is doing today. This cannot be run by one or two political parties. This has to be a Venezuelan collective effort. And in order to do that, we really have to include other peoples beyond the political parties, because the rescue of Venezuela is actually an independent effort, but you need to get the support of other people from the civil society, which today are not being asked to participate.
There is a lot of misunderstandings in terms of the various terms we use to describe what's happening now. I think it would be interesting to see what is, obviously we know the word dialogue is an insult for most Venezuelans. We've gone through this many times before. So we hear the word facilitation, mediation, negotiation. Could you perhaps help us understand the differences between them and what do you see then is actually happening in your view?
You know, basically there are no differences. You can call it different ways. You can say it's a process, you can say it's a mediation, you can say it's a... The fact is, at the bottom, it is a negotiating process. It is a negotiating issue because actually, why are you having a mediation? To come to a conclusion. And the conclusion is part of a negotiation. And if you do not ask for certain conditions before you sit on the table, because we're not in the middle of a conflict. No, we are trying to rescue the freedom from a narco-tyranny. It's completely different from a gang of criminals. That's what the world must understand. We are not fighting a government. We are trying to rescue the country from a gang of thugs, of criminals who have kidnapped Venezuela. And until that's not understood, people will insist telling us, you must have a dialogue, you must sit on the table. I've seen that, I saw it in Somalia, I saw it in Rwanda, I saw it in Congo, and when we were insisting, you must sit on the table, you must compensate, they